So the basic stance in boxing is usually something like so. Both hands up in front of your face, parallel-ish arms, your weight evenly distributed between front and back leg. Imagine there's a pole going through your head, out your bum and into the floor. You don't want to lean too far over the front or the back. You want to keep this nice little rhythm here. Most boxers keep the hands up. Some, like me, keep them down if you've got good reflexes. If you're right-handed, you're normally in an orthodox stance, which means your left hand is forward and you throw a jab with your lead hand. If you're a southpaw, which means you're left-handed usually, you go around the other way, where your power shot is your left hand and your forward hand, which you jab with, is your right hand. Those are the two usual stances. You get some fighters like Michael Venom Page who switch between the two all the time, which kind of befuddles and confuses their opponent. But your usual boxing stance is something along the lines of this. Chin down, looking through your eyebrows, because if your head's up, your chin. You don't want to get hit on the chin. If you get hit on top of the head, you can take that a lot more. As soon as you get hit in the jaw, in the mouth, it's when you start going to sleep. So boxers normally have their chin tucked down into their chest, look through their eyebrows, and hands up like so. The jab, the most important punch for a boxer. From an orthodox stance, which means your left hand is facing forward with your power hand, right hand at the back, all you do is turn it over and push it forward. This punch keeps your opponent at bay. It also sets up the big backhand for you to rotate it through. But for me, the jab is the shot that you throw the most. You pick up points with the jab. Rarely do you knock people out with the jab. You can knock people down if you throw it hard enough, but it's a range finder. It's a keep distance between you and your opponent. You can bust your opponent up. You can blacken his eyes or bloody his nose just with the jab. But the jab normally sets up the big backhand, the big right hand from an orthodox stance, or the right jab will set up the big left hand coming across from a southpaw position. So for me, the jab is the most important punch for a boxer, as it sets up range, it sets up distance, and it keeps you on balance to land a big knockout punch. The cross in boxing, from an orthodox position, which means if your power hand's at the back, your right hand, your jabbing hand's your left one, you want to rotate your body through the punch. You want to be looking down your arm at the end. You don't want your chin to be up in the air, because if he throws the same shot at the same time, you're going to get it smack in the chin, which, trust me, you don't want to do. So this would be kind of the perfect way to throw your right hand or your backhand from an orthodox stance. If you turn southpaw, it's exactly the same thing applies. You rotate through, looking down your arm, and it's the shot that usually does the most amount of damage for a boxer. If you hit some with a jab or even miss a jab, if you continue that going through, you've got all of your body's momentum and weight traveling from your back foot, from your back toe, all the way through your opponent. And that is a shot that usually knocks people out. So the backhand travels the furthest, the jab travels a short distance, the right hand, the backhand from this position, comes all the way across, and that is the one that gets the bingo KO usually. The hook in boxing can be thrown with either hand. Most people from an orthodox stance throw a left hook. It means you normally throw a one, a cross, and you throw your punch across like this. Or you can loop it round, a big backhand hook. Usually the shots that knock people out are the short hooks. You know, you normally hit somebody with a straight right down the pipe, but to land a big looping shot is you normally only land that shot when someone's already hurt. But a left hook from an orthodox stance is the shot that usually is short and sweet and gets the job done. So if you hit someone with a 1-2, you can then bring around the hook and close the show. So if you can land your right hand, you're doing a good job. But if they're lucky enough to still be on their feet, you can close the show with the left hook. So the left hook is normally the punch that lands at the end of a combination. And so a 1-2 left hook is the usual punch sequence that a fighter will throw. And if you're lucky enough to land all three, the likelihood is, if you're a big puncher, your opponent's going to hit the floor. The uppercut, my personal favorite. It's a shot that comes right underneath your opponent's guard. As you can see, the typical boxing stance is like this, which means there's a big gap underneath, and that's where you slide in your uppercut. You can throw a right uppercut, you can throw a left uppercut, but what you're doing, you're coming up under the line of vision. So if a lot of boxers have their hands kind of under their chin or around their chin, which blinds you from seeing what's coming up underneath. So if you throw an uppercut, if you throw a one, cross, hook, uppercut, they're so busy getting hit here, they don't see the shot coming underneath. And for me, this is one of my sneaky shots that I've knocked out many of my opponents with. And it's a shot that you can put a lot of your legs. I've got big, strong legs and glutes. You can really squat down and really lift up the shot. Mike Tyson famously had a tremendous uppercut because he was quite short. He could get underneath his opponents. And when the opponent's trying to hold onto him, he then shoots his punch right up the middle and gets the job done. It knocks the head up, and after you've knocked the head up, you can throw that hook that we just talked about to really send your guy into dreamland. Well, a haymaker is usually a big swooping punch thrown by a boxer that renders your opponent unconscious. That's what it says in the dictionary, and it's something that I did as a youngster. I had no technique whatsoever, so I used to just flail my arms around throwing haymakers. But slowly but surely over time I learned to fine tune my haymakers so they're a little bit more accurate. But a usual haymaker is literally just bringing your head down and walloping over a big old right hand 9 times out of 10. And it's a shot, if it catches you, it's a very dangerous shot, but it doesn't always land. But over the years, I've, as I said, fine-tuned, practice. So I've knocked out now 26 of my 28 victories. So something's going right somewhere. I was called the Haymaker for a reason, but I fine-tuned the Haymaker to land on my opponents probably 9 out of 10 times now. How to celebrate after a victory normally depends on the type of the heat that was put on before the fight. I've had some of my biggest grudge matches I've had where I didn't assume that we would kind of embrace in sort of mutual respect after the fights. I have done. And once you sort of shared the ring with an opponent, no matter how much you dislike this person, no matter what was said prior to it, when you and your opponent are in there and in the battle, in the heat of the battle, you fight, one guy wins, one guy loses, you both put your best efforts forth, someone's got to lose. And if someone does lose, it's hard to still hold a grudge against that person if they've proven that they've bettered you in the boxing arena. And I've never really had a fight where there was some bad blood in the ring after the fight. I've always shook hands and embraced my opponents no matter what was said. And there's been some real choice words said prior to most of my fights. And but after the battle, after the heat simmers down, shake hands, best of luck, wish you nothing but luck, and you go about your life.